Boom, baby, we're live. Welcome to Tokyo Crypto Show Season 2. Violent crash. Is the bull market over? The answer is yes. Pack your bags, go home. You're going to lose all your money. Just joking. Not entirely. We have a divided panel, so you know it's going to be good. We're going to argue like Fresh and Fit show. Only we're not drunken whores. We're all educated white people.
I like to think we
Guys, what's up? Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Oh, hey, John. Nothing much. Just chatting away, enjoying the madness of it all.
I've been studying my ass off.
Okay, that's good.
I'm hoping World War III starts so I can just go in and point a gun at some enemy and not have to deal with the markets anymore. That's simpler living.
Let's go. Let's start it.
Simpler time. Simpler time.
What impoverished nation are we going to war with next? What do a bunch of people riding camels have to do to destroy my freedom in Idaho? Oh boy, guys, I know at home you guys are very uncertain. I'm just gonna be very open. Here's the thing. My crypto community course is ready and 100% ready to go. The course is filmed. We have all the advertisement material. Everything is ready. But I'm at a tipping point ethically because, I'm not like the rest of these guys that will do anything for money. The last thing I want to do is launch a crypto course, but we're nearing the end of the bull market. So that's the only reason I have not launched it. I am ethically torn as a man. Is this the right thing to do? Or is this the wrong thing to do? Because the last thing I want to do is be like, hey guys, sign up for this crypto community and the bull market is over in like 3 to 6 months. See, that's where I'm at mentally. So if you guys in the audience watching want to change my perspective, say, hey, I still want the community, I don't know, help me make the right decision, because that is what the decision should always be with me, is the right thing for the right people. And I'm looking at these markets and I'm just not feeling too confident about a lot. We're going to talk about a lot of it. The ETFs have been bleeding nonstop. That's my biggest thing, Alex. Oh, James is here. Look at that. What's up, James?
Hey guys, sorry about that. I forgot it was a stupid daylight savings time.
Yeah, we thought you were not going to come, so we'll let you sleep in or whatever.
No, I was working out, then I saw the notification, so I ran up.
Nice. You're working out your traps. You look jacked.
No, I'm working on my pelvic thrust.
Oh, nice. I'm a virgin, so I don't know.
And the fingers.
So yeah, we're talking about everything here. So yeah, the panel's a little bit split. I think we might be cooked, but if we do not turn things around, I feel like we're gonna have a double top. I think like top one was probably already in Q1, maybe like around January-ish time. There's people like what's that Asian guy? What's his name? Scott. James, he's always on MSNBC. He's always on The Money. He's a Korean guy. He's an analyst. Scott.
You mean Tommy Lee? Tom Lee?
Tommy, that's him. Yeah, he's calling for $250,000 Bitcoin. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm with him, actually. I'm with him.
I don't know.
It's a long way away. It's a long way away.
You need a lot of money.
But here's my take on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What changed for crypto fundamentally?
Exactly.
All the money's gone.
All we had was bullish news after bullish news after bullish news, except for stupid Bybit hack, which was not really crypto. That was a Bybit issue, not crypto issue, right?
Yeah.
And the meme coin, sure, I get it, but that was such a small slice of total market. That was just more of a gambling in and out, right? So fundamentally, for the crypto industry as a whole, the news have been more than bullish, because you got crypto reserve, you got the Bitcoin reserve, you got sovereign fund. Texas just passed it. Did you know Kraken is going to IPO? They're apply for IPO. Kraken.
Yes.
Right. What's the other one? Citadel's jumping in. I mean, you got all these guys jumping in. The big money's jumping in. They're not going to jump in in the middle of a bear market or start of a bear market, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's generally, this is a macro sentiment driven correction. So to me, if you are in it, I said hold, unless it gets to your pain point. If you have some money set aside and you're feeling kind of ballsy, start DCing in, right, to some of the quality issues that we talked about here in the show. Then just remember that here, I think the bottom's in or we're close to it, but we can have another down to retest it, right? So, just keep that in mind. Nobody's 100% sure where this is going to go. Plus, all the global liquidity is starting to loosen up. China just dumped trillions of dollars into stimulation.
Stimulation.
He froze
to
out
stimulate better Wi-Fi providers.
Yes.
Yeah, did they? I don't think they stumped into trillions though. They put in. I saw the last thing I saw was $178 billion is what I saw. Did you see anything on the trillion side, Steve?
No, but the thing is, that's usually continuous, so it could enter into the trillion side over the next few months.
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
If China's undergoing with their quantitative easing, it could enter into the trillions if they keep printing the money over the next several months.
Right. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. So okay. Well, today's episode is going to be more of a roundtable. Yeah. But my thing is this, okay? And I just have a very, very simple outlook on this. Despite all the good news, despite all the population becoming aware, despite regulatory changes, despite everything, one, the price is going down, and then two, in order for us to have any type of positive acceleration, the ETFs need to flip positive. It's a very simple thing. Okay. The ETFs, they do need to flip positive, and they have been draining billions and billions.
Yeah, but here's my question, John.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. ETF's been draining, but did it drain down to a net zero level when it started? No, right?
No.
So we got to look at what's draining inside the ETF. Is it the retail money, the dumb money that's draining, or is it the smart money that's draining? Right?
Yeah. What I'm saying is, regardless of who's draining, smart or dumb, it is draining. And what I'm trying to say is, all the good news still has to overcome that hump of multiple billions of dollars being sold out 2 months in a row now, almost 3. Right? So we get positive good news, like SBR. Like, let's take a real quick look at, if you guys go to bitcoinlaws.io, you can track all of the ownership of you can track all the progress. And what James was saying earlier is here. Take a look. Okay, so nothing has been enacted yet. Arizona, this is SB 1313 or 1373. This one is SB 1025. So we have Arizona twice, Texas, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, and then majority of everything else has been started. This is Missouri, Texas, West Virginia, and then Montana, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, and Wyoming have all struck it down, said no. So again, like, we have this is good. We're getting somewhere, but the majority of them are in the infantile stage. Looks like Cynthia Loomis is reintroducing the Bitcoin 2024 Act. There is good news. Like today, for example, Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, President Trump's goal is to eliminate taxes for anyone earning less than $150,000 a year. Eliminate all taxes, which is great because as an American, I'm sure James can tell you this because he lives abroad too. Despite us living abroad, we still have to pay taxes, which is insane because we're not even in America. But if we don't pay taxes, we go to prison.
One of the reasons why I moved.
There's actually a new bill that's being introduced, John. So resident tax act. So instead of taxing based on the citizenship, U.S. is going to try to move away from that and start taxing based on residency, right? Mm-hmm. So like if you're out of country 335 days out of the tax calendar year, you don't pay any federal income tax. I mean, you're still liable for, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the old people tax, right?
Yeah.
But the income tax, they're going to eliminate it if you stay out 330 days the year, which would
that'd be
make
so good.
a lot of things simple for American citizens or the expats living abroad. I know Alex, Australia does that too, right? If you're 330 days out of the year or something, or is it?
You have to literally become a non-tax resident, which means for all intents and purposes, you're a citizen in like name only. And so you get like no.
Oh,
benefit.
yeah.
And then they also are like on your ass to make sure you're not like just kind of playing the system a little bit.
Right.
Like they're greedy. The government's just trying to. They've spent all the money, and then they've been borrowing the money, and now they're just trying to tax the shit out of everyone and find you hiding something. Give me that. Give me that.
Yeah.
And so
but
it's not good.
You're right though, John, because that $150,000 or below no income tax would free up a lot of people the headache of, even when you're an expat. Currently, you get your what's called a foreign earned income tax credit or something. You get up to $140,000 tax free, but you have to pay the tax up front. Then it's up to you to claim it with the filing, right?
Just a write-off. It's just a write-off.
Yeah, it's a write-off. Yep, exactly. So $150,000 or less for no income tax would actually eliminate it all. So you don't have to file anything. They're just going to stop taking it out of your pay.
Yeah. But again, so do I think potentially, I think there's more evidence that we're heading towards it's over than we are, that it is going on. But I will say two things that I'm holding on to. One, we could be a potential top. Two, I think 120K Bitcoin's probably the max. Maybe 130. But like we have so much downward self pressure anytime you launch anything. The Jeters are just out of control. These guys are cheating like a motherfucker. And then on top of that, the only thing is, would President Trump and his administration, who's very aware and very active on social media, would they indeed let Bitcoin go under during a time where Bitcoin traditionally sets all-time highs, which is the year after the year of the halving? Because so far we had majority of the price action, I would argue, in November and then a little bit in December. I think we had that one peak, it was 109 in like January 19th, I believe it was. Like, memory serves me correctly. That's like when we had it. But again, across the board, we're having some, January 20th, excuse me, not 19th, January 20th was $109,114. That was, again, the day before or the day of the president becoming president in the United States of America. So the way I'm looking at it is either the Trump coin was the top, and now we're kind of just dealing with just like a multi-month sell-off, because we have been in downward price trajectory since January, with little bit of outside influence from the presidential, from the meme coin when he wasn't president. And then that pumped us up to all-time highs. And then the bleed off from there was consistent. And then, a couple weeks ago, he mentioned that he liked Solana, XRP, and ADA. That pumped us up to about 170, but then that bled off. And then now here we are at Solana with like 120 and people kind of rationalizing it. I'm like, this is how you round trip. Like, it seems like there's hope, but I just think it's, like I said, it's good to have opposing views. And I will be the first to say, I do not want it to be over. I want this fucking gravy train to keep going. Believe you me, if anybody knows that I want this to go, it is me and the guys who have seen the charitable donations I've been making all of 2024 with my money, my crypto profits.
You're a philanthropist of the year.
Yes, I'm stimulating these third world economies.
Helping Angeles
and supporting single moms and college girls.
Supporting employment in Angeles City.
Proud to say, no single mom supported that I know of, but God knows what happened that night. I was grayed out that night. So yeah, that's my thinking. So let's just spice it up a little bit. So that's what I think. I think potentially here's my thesis. We're gonna go around the panel for everybody. We're gonna, instead of doing the same monotonous shit, I think potentially we're cooked. And I think that if we are going to stay alive, like what we have right here has to hold. Anything lower than this, it's like we're like kind of like coping now. It's like if Solana breaks into 115, 110 region, then it's just like, I don't know. Personally, I just like, okay, because Ethereum, we've been making fun of Ethereum forever, and Ethereum's like holding on at what, 1800 right now. Ugh. Ethereum is cooked. 1900, excuse me. Still, yeah. It's a joke. That I think that's the lowest it's been in quite some time. And then hold on, let me look at this. I think yeah, did 2024 did it break down to 1900? I think on the no, it did not. No, it held all. Well, excuse me. Let me see the beginning at the very beginning. No, it was held above 1900 all of 2024. So Ethereum is the altcoin canary in the coal mine. You know, I think a lot of people were trading like 2021. They're like, an alt season's coming. Like, no, it's not, asshole. Stop. You look like a fucking fool. Like, alt season. Like, no, there's not enough. There's too many cryptos. There's too many cryptos being launched. Is anybody aware of Banker Coin? Are you guys aware of that? That has skyrocketed in Mindshare this morning. Banker Coin is another thing it's the third. It's like it's taken up Solana's place. So apparently it's a new coin. I just woke up and just took a look at this, but even on Kaito, you know, you can see here this one, BNKR, 6.93% of total dominance. So I think that my thing is that we potentially had a top here in Q1 with that, because there's no massive driving narrative. That's the biggest thing. Narrative is what drives everything in crypto. And the narrative before Trump getting office was Trump, like the whole world was watching the election and gambling like a bunch of degenerates, waiting for that shit to happen. And a lot of people made money, right? Now everything's been going, you know, kind of south. It could be a healthy cool off period, but again, Ethereum didn't go this low at 2024. And there's no big narrative moving forward. The Solana ETFs were delayed on March 11th. All four were delayed. They kicked that down the can. So I think the next earliest decision we're going to have is June. Rate cuts are probably not going to happen. That's set for the 18th. And I just don't personally see any narrative that's going to keep us going. So we better hold like this. And I'll pass this off to Alex next. These levels that we're at right now pretty much they have to hold, especially for Solana. Ethereum, I think, is cooked. Ethereum just is like, I think
it's not looking good at all. And people are shilling it on crypto Twitter, and it just gives me like it's like a hex vibe. It's just all no, man, like old season's coming. Alex Becker's screaming from the rooftops, buy Ethereum, buy AVAX. It's all, and it's like
Alex Becker is a faggot, and I'll go on record with that. So, you know, that being said, this guy, Virtual Bacon, who's talking about how all these guys, and it's funny, Alex Becker, Virtual Bacon, Elio Trades, if you watch their shit, they think they're slick, but every episode they promote Superverse, which is their little fucking shit coin, right? They disguise as being content creators, but they really want people to buy Superverse so they can rug you. But that Asian guy is the weak one of the group, because I could tell he's a fucking moron. He's calling for Ethereum to go to 14,000 this year. When I saw that, I was like, yep, wow. Like, if this dipshit can be a content creator, anybody can. But no, that's not happening. Ethereum's going to continue to lose out. It's going to continue to be cooked out. And I think if anything, I agree with what Steve has been saying. Steve says we're going to be choppy into summer. Then we get some rate cuts, and we get some rate cuts into the end of the year. And the second half of the year, we pump up. And then 2026, I hope you can buy a gun where you live, because we're going into financial chaos and gloom and doom. Ethereum is at the top of the the dominance Mindshare as well, probably because it's doing so bad. But anyways, go ahead, Alex, take it over.
Cool. Well, let's jump in here to Bitcoin chart. So let's just zoom out. This is 12-month chart, so yearly chart. In general, what we would expect is this sort of thing where we go green, 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 red, green, 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 red, and this blow off top. Green, green, and we've gone up, but where's our third green one? We're in the 5th year of ascension in markets. Like, where's my fucking year of ascension? We should be moving up. Now, in general, you want to see in a bullish continuation, bars close above 50% of the previous bars range. So that level is here, and we have absolutely done that. So from a yearly chart perspective, it's actually up and it's actually looking fine. So cool. Now, yearly chart, big lag. So that's why we've got to kind of move in. So let's sort of creep our way towards today. So the next one we go is monthly chart. Now, with the month, we have, and I've gone through previous markets, how many moves, I said to myself, how many times did we get like a top as the market went through? And now the prices were so low that we had to zoom in a crazy amount because we're all the way down here at like fucking $2. And we have a run up to 207. We have a run down.
Could you zoom in with that? The volume at the bottom doesn't really need. We don't need that.
Yeah, no,
you can't see it at home. Sorry, buddy.
The main thing we want to pay attention to is one top, two tops, and then all the way up here, three tops. That was the end of the market. Then we had 12 months down. Boom. So then we have the next 4-year cycle of behavior. One top, two tops. This was just the one that we had last 4-year cycle. Three tops. 12 months of down. Finished. All we got out of this one was 1, 2, 3 tops. So now we're here. We've gone one top. This is 15,000 to 31. One top, two tops, and now three tops. So the question is, because in these markets, you usually get 3 or 4 tops. So in my mind, I believe that we're here. And we're here now, basically. So I'm looking for one more move this year. But that's it. Some people are saying, I think we're going to move into 2026, extended cycle. Even Bob Lucas has been saying that. I'm playing with this idea of a 2026 top. I just don't see us getting more than he's thinking that we're going to get like a 5th top or a 6th top before a bear market. And that's
how we got cooked last time.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen like that. So a 4th top is something that totally happens, and it's totally normal to happen. 3 or 4. So we've had 3. So it's very much, is the market over? So now we have to keep going in. When we look at how long are the monthly moves, we have this bear market bottom, 7 months up, 2 months down. So that's great. We were overbalanced to the upside, which means we're probably going to continue up, which is what we did, 6 months up. Now, this is obviously, you could be like, this month went slightly low or something, like the move, the trend. 6 months up. Then we have 5 months down. So less than the 6, still good. 5 months up. Now we're kind of balanced. And now we've had 2 months down. So I'm thinking that regardless of market over or not over, we will be seeing a rally at some point in the next few months that is higher than where we are today. And that is the time to get out. Also, we are back on, baby, should we close above this $95,000 region. Now, we got all the fuckery here with February, where they didn't want the candle to close too low, and you'll see it on the weekly. So we had, on the very last day of the month, in the last hours, we had the President of the United States pumping the market up so it didn't close too low so as to make people too worried so that then they could let it drop again. So here we are. Monthly is down 2 months. Cool. That's not, it's all over, but it's certainly downtrend. So now we move closer in. Weekly chart. Welcome to the weekly chart. So what you'll usually see in these moves, I've been doing lots and lots of reading and studying and getting all of the stuff back on. So the move starting 5th of August, Bob Lucas has it starting like in September, but whatever. It kind of is immaterial, really. You've got this move. This is the overall trend up 123%. If you take it from here, it ends up being 107%, 119, 107. What you'll usually see on a retracement is it comes back down to the 50% range. So unfortunately, I can't sell here because had we sold up here, this is the area from which I would be aggressively buying back. I would have an aggressive stop, but this would be where I'm accumulating again. So there are two big mistakes people can make when they're in the market. Mistake number one is not selling the top. Now, I had no plans to sell it. I was all 2025, that's when I'm selling shit. Now, this is the 2025, but it was really early, so I didn't sell. Now, this could have been a catastrophic error if the market's over. Once again, I believe we still have another high to go. So mistake number one is not selling the top. Okay, that's happened. Mistake number two is selling the bottom. So you don't want to sell exactly where the support price would be. So this can go lower, but this is sort of the 50% of the range is typically where the moves stop and resolve to. And that's what's happened in this last cycle as well. It came down here to a good amount, 50% of the move. So here you're sort of going, are we going to turn around? Are we not going to turn around? Now, we go further in. We want to look at the 3-day chart, which unfortunately or fortunately, you'll need a TradingView subscription to do, but you can do this on Dex Screener without needing anything. 3-day chart. We shouldn't assume the trend has changed until we have closed below, or at least broken a major low on the 3-day chart. So this is sort of the big low here, and we have lost that. So the trend is down. If anyone says it's an uptrend, they're full of shit. The trend is fucking down because the chart has told us in no uncertain terms we're down. So that's not good. That's not good, which means if you're buying here, you're buying on an unconfirmed uptrend because it's downtrend. You're buying on the downtrend. But because we've hit that 50% of the range, you're buying where it generally will stop. So James has said, I believe we're at the low or around the low because this is kind of that level. So a quick flush down to say start of April to give us a 3-month down before heading off could be something that happens. It could just dick around here for the next little while. With the regulatory environment, with the tariffs and everything that I'd love to get Steve going through to get his perspective on, is that everyone's just really uncertain. And in an uncertain market, the market's it's not going to do anything. We can't expect all-time highs when the entire, the XJO, which is at the Australian stock market, has dropped in the last month over 11%, which is crazy on something that people are really happy at a 3% increase in a year. So it's 4 years gone. Poof. Now it has been going on a tear the last 2 years, but that's a huge drop. So this is not like a crypto specific event that what we're seeing, which is why we're hearing lots of it's more of it's like a sentiment driven action, not some sort of technical kind of, the 4-year cycle's up or this, that, and the other. So 3-day chart is down, downtrend. Daily chart down, but we're starting to kind of make a bit of progress. So if we're hunting for where the low could be, you have to come all the way down 5 minutes. Don't recommend going below 5 minutes. It's kind of a bit pointless. So if we go here, I was doing a bit of paper trading yesterday, and I was like, this is looking pretty cool for a low. And where do we get to? This is 81. We got lower than that. So this must be, even then, we got to come all the way further back. Anyways, we were down here. Here we go. So yesterday. So I'm sitting here going, okay, cool. Here's our low. We got to wait for this area to clear for the 5-minute chart to be up. 5-minute chart's up. Cool. And this was just a matter of, well, if this is our low here and we have a stop here, how would we trade this? How would we trade this? How would we trade this? And the 5-minute chart has turned up. So now we want to just keep doing this. We've broken this high here. Now we just want to keep breaking up. So 5-minute chart up. That's good. We move up to hour chart. Hour chart. Now you probably can't see this too well. Let's get this fucking volume shit out of the way because that has taken up way too much room. Hour chart is up. Very nice. So now we just want to keep seeing it going up. Hour chart's turned up. Very nice. And then we start moving back. So daily chart has not turned up. 3-day chart has not turned up. 4-hour chart has turned up. Cool. So in terms of this very much could be a low kind of situation, at the very least it tells me now is not the time to sell the position. Now is not the time to capitulate the position. So I am sitting tight. I wanted to rebalance some of my Solana Bitcoin, given that Solana versus Bitcoin has broken down out of the range. And whilst I think it can easily recover, if Bitcoin shoots back up and Ethereum in Solana shoots back up, the ratio can sort of stay about the same. So I'm sort of not really risking much at this stage. So there was a little bit of rebalancing there. I'm at an 80-20 at the moment, and I'm happy with that. I'm nowhere near my pain points. So any selling is kind of irrelevant here. If I thought that it's going to tumble over or I needed to free up some cash, I'd be waiting for a rally back up. And I am still looking for this sort of $96,000 level, a close above, to say trend is back on, we're going up, da-da-da-da. But I wouldn't expect anything now to happen. So above this one, $95,000. If we get up back above that, then we can say trend is up again. Till then, trend is not up. So I'm relying on this 50% rule now as here's a good point. If it breaks below, I'm going to have to look at getting out then. But once again, on a rally. Don't sell, or try not to sell, rather, on the red day. Try to sell on the green days. So I'm expecting the next 2 months to be overall up. Even if we're sideways, overall up. We've had 2 months down. Cool. We've had 7 weeks down. Generally, a move will be 7 weeks. Any longer, then this shit's going to 10 weeks, which means we could have Bitcoin down at $64,000. We could be fucking not there, not that far down. But, you know, this is a potential. We have a lot of support here, which is good. But if you can't handle that, then you really got to go on a rally. I'm having to de-risk a bit. In general, I think we're at the first of the two tops thing. I think we're around this area here. So that's a few months of nothing burgers happening. See how we did actually wick a little bit lower. If we're here and not here. But overall, I do believe we're going to get another push up. John's indicated that he doesn't think that a push up would result in anything too crazy, like when $200,000 Bitcoin. I would tend to, at this stage, agree with that. I think that the gains are not going to be nearly as high as people might think. I'm willing to be surprised by that. At this stage, though, I'm not selling. I'm just chilling, waiting for a reaction. We can unload up here if we get further continued bad news. But yesterday, because I've been keeping a bit of a trading journal, yesterday my personal sentiment was the lowest it has been since July last year. So all the way back here, where am I looking? Here. So my sentiment yesterday was the same as when we were here. So, and here everyone was very, very sad. So I went, well, it was pretty much a low there. Well, I know we came and we just kind of dicked around for a little while, but selling then would have been probably the worst thing one could have done. So it's really just checking in. And that's why trading journals are very valuable, because you can look at like, well, what was I thinking? Why did I make the decision I made at the time? So if people are quite serious about trading, you really should be doing that, because that helped me sit there and go, okay, let's be a bit objective here and just look at the rules, see what unfolds. And is it over or is it not over? If you look on the weekly, we have this huge separation between the 200-week, 50-week, 20-week. So prices below the 20-week, but I mean, that's a good setup, 250, 20. So on the weekly time scale, it's still fine. On the monthly, it's still fine. On the yearly, it's still fine. So overall, it's looking good. It's like, obviously, it's not looking amazing. We're not up here and, woo, party time. But I would say selling here would be a mistake. We could retest down here again. But if you want to sell on a rally. Do not sell on a capitulate. Don't capitulate. If you miss the top, don't sell the bottom, because that's... Now, we've been doing this show for ages, and we've been in for ages earlier than that. So our pain points are likely significantly lower than many other people's. So there's also that to consider, like your own personal thing, which is why it's hard to give people specific advice on stuff. But I can't sell here because here is where I would be buying. So that's the case.
You're muted.
You're muted.
James, you want to go next?
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Okay.
So I kind of mirror Alex's sentiment about 75%.
Zodia says I'm in pain every
Can you
single
guys
day.
see this? Can you guys see the chart?
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, this is a total crypto market cap monthly, right? And based on this, we got this whole crypto monthly chart here. We had our previous top, November 2021. Then we had our first top, March of 24. So this is, like Alex said, second top here in beginning of January or end of December. Well, as you have known, this second thing here is called the hold on, let me rewind. Why I think we are close to the bottom, or if not at the bottom, is that total crypto market cap have been in this up channel, started, I would say, about September, October 2023. Do you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
And we touched the channel here, bottom of the uptrend channel, September 24, when everybody said sky was falling. Okay. Now we're touching the bottom of the channel again this month. I know we're kind of midway through the month, but we got spinning top, right, Alex? Then not only that, this coincides with the previous top from previous bull cycle. So we got two things converging here. This is a top of previous bull run, as well as bottom of the up channel that we started beginning of this cycle. Right? That's why I think we're close to the bottom, if not at the bottom. Why I'm so bullish is that, as you notice, this blue line here, this is a global liquidity, and the ones underneath it is a dollar strength, right?
Is it M2?
So what you want to see? What
is that M2?
It's a M2 plus something else. So
okay.
It's got other shit in it. So what we want to see is that global liquidity going up, and there's about a 3-month lag here, as you can see. It peaked here, but we didn't peak until here. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And the dollar strength inverse of global liquidity, we want the weak dollar, which means people are going to start looking for risk on asset because dollar's getting worth less every day, right? So we want the dollar strength to go down, global liquidity to go up. Then crypto market's going to lag by about 3 months, as you can see from here. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
And the bottom of the, or end of our bear cycle was when the global liquidity started going back up and dollar strengths start lowering again. Well, kind of funny now is that this cycle, the global liquidity so far have been pretty flat. I mean, there's a little bit of upturn, but it's been kind of whipsawing up and down. While dollar has been pretty strong, especially this when Trump got elected. While the total crypto market cap moved up. So what is that? That's almost what's called a bullish divergence, right? Your indicators are going sideways or down, but your price is still going up, or this, in this case, market cap, right? So that's why I think we're not even started the bull run yet. Because we want to see this thing move up, which we are seeing the news and the indicator from the background with China, the EU, CPI coming down whatsoever. And Trump did say when he got elected, he wants weak dollar, which would help us trade more and reset the imbalance, right? So this is what kind of happening. Dollar's getting weaker and weaker, and the liquidity is coming up, and crypto market is kind of bottoming out. So what does that tell me? I think we're getting ready for another run-up, right? So another run-up, just like Alex was saying, typical bull cycle, you see about 3 to 5 sine wave of move up. So here's the first one. We're in the second one, right? So what do we think? Maybe there's a 1 to 3 more cycles up, 3 more tops, 1 to 3 more tops. I think there'll be maybe 2 more tops. One top maybe approaching the summer this year, and maybe the fourth top end of this year or maybe beginning of next year, then I think we'll be done. Again, Alex think one top, I think maybe two tops, but this could go on as much as 5 tops, right, guys? But after 5 tops, this is kind of getting extended, right? That's where you want to be really careful and start looking to kind of cash out after 5 top. But I think there's at least 2 more move up that's in the books for this, because based on the global liquidity cycle, we haven't even started upturn on the liquidity, and we just started seeing weakening of the dollar.
All right, good stuff. Steve?
Yep, I'll give my take. Okay, so if I was to give my position sort of in one sentence, it's going to be choppiness, expect the market to go lower, I would say reliably until the summer. Now, you might see Bitcoin soar up to 89K, you might see it soar up to 90K, you might see it go down to 72K, 73K. Expect chop. It's going to be up and down, in my humble view. Now, the reason why for this long and the short of it is because the market doesn't understand what Trump's policies are or are not going to be. And the constant sort of going back and forwards on tariffs is creating a lot of uncertainty surrounding businesses. Now, in the off event that I die in a car crash, or I wind up getting into a coma with this upcoming fight I got going on in Hawaii, all right, the main thing that would actually make me be a full-blown bear for 2025 would be is if we start regularly seeing businesses coming out and saying, we're not going to reinvest money because we don't know what tariff policy is going to be. We're not going to be spending money into the economy to grow our scale of operations because we don't know if there's going to be tariffs. We don't know if there's going to be tax cuts or not. We're too uncertain about this. So we'd rather shell up and keep the capital that we can possibly invest safe because they don't know what's going to happen. If businesses in mass start doing this, then I would say reliably the bull run's over. And sadly, this has already started to begin with some CEOs coming out and saying, we're not going to start reinvesting our money until we know what tariffs are or aren't going to be. So it's not the tariff that's causing the recession. It's the lack of reinvestment because businesses are too concerned and confused and don't want to risk capital. Now, that hasn't been ongoing long enough to seriously harm the economy or really spell out in the real data because this is something that's been going on only for 2 weeks. If we see this continue for, I would say, another 2 months, we're getting a lot of business, and we start getting a lot of business leaders saying they're not going to reinvest money, then I would say I am bearish and I would give up on 2025. Currently, if tariff policy becomes more clear and we have more understanding about what tax rates will be moving into the future under the Trump administration, then I would say expect chop until the summer. Why? Well, based on today's inflation report, actually, inflation is once again coming down. I've mentioned many times on the show now that gas and oil will fall coming out of the winter. Well, today I checked Brent oil, which is mined out of the North Sea around Great Britain. It was trading at $69 a barrel today, funnily enough. But that is far lower than the $80 to $90 range that it had been trading in 2023 and a lot of 2024. And now
why is that coming down, Steve, out of nowhere? Why is that? Is that because of the administration?
Lack of demand in China. Some of it is oil traders selling because they're scared of Trump's baby drill policy. OPEC is allowing more production as well. Some are speculating that with these negotiations surrounding the Russo-Ukrainian war, Russia will get its supply out onto the market rather than continuing to be sanctioned. Latin American production's also been surging, particularly out of Brazil, Chile, and Argentina, of all places. But these generally are the reasons why oil is going to be falling. A lack of demand from Europe and China, and just production surging everywhere, as well as future potential production coming out of Russia, right? And then, of course, traders reacting to that and then selling the oil that they have because they don't think they're going to be able to sell it for a higher price, right? So that's going to spell lower inflation. And with that lower inflation, we'll see rate cuts. Because fundamentally right now, I would say the big economic picture, it's not good for the little guy, but it's still good in terms of what the economy needs to run on. Right now, the American economy is in a state where it's only ran by the upper middle class's spending as well as the rich's spending. And that's still holding up. Yes, you're going to read reports saying things like consumer credit defaults rose, but that's really more to me just saying that inequality is widening and that K-shaped recovery from COVID is being spelt out in the real data as the poor struggle to keep up with their bills. Meanwhile, the rich can do whatever they want. That isn't, however, a sign that the total economy is, failing. That's more a sign that it just sucks to be the little guy in the modern world. Now, to get a little bit more into the data with you guys, I'm expecting rate cuts, roughly speaking, I fully expect them from June. If we're lucky, we might get them a little earlier around May. Quantitative easing, many are speculating that summer will likely be a start date for that. For those of you who don't know, quantitative easing is the Federal Reserve printing money to then add assets onto its balance sheet to support the economy and financial markets. We're currently in what's called a quantitative tightening, which is where the Federal Reserve is still selling assets, albeit at a very slow rate to the rest of the market, right?
Well, Steve, though, I got a question.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that we have this huge debt wall.
Yes.
For U.S. government that's coming due this year. I think somewhere between, nobody knows the exact amount, right? But I think somewhere between $6 to $7 trillion, which means what I think Trump and Powell are doing in the background. I don't think they're butting heads. I think they're working together, right? Saying that, hey, we need to bring the yield and the interest rate down, but there's only way that Powell can jump in and not look like a jackass, start lowering rates after all this inflation bullshit, is for market to be hurting, right? And the general economy to be hurting a little bit, or the perception of it, right? So Trump is using tariff and all this jiggering or posturing of this economical policy to kind of scare the market to give Powell excuse to come in and lower the rates. So regardless of that, the $6 to $7 trillion worth of national debt have to be refinanced, which means that amount of liquidity has to come into the market, no matter what, by end of the year, right? So it depends on
summer.
Yeah. So that's the huge thing, that huge, like 800-pound gorilla in the room we're not talking about, is that sure, U.S. is still not lowering the rates, but sooner or later they're going to have to refinance by this year, end of this year. So that's a liquidity that has to come into the market no matter what. It's there.
Yeah.
Is that correct or is that not correct?
Oh no, I would say it's correct.
You're talking about the interest on the U.S. debt, on the U.S. deficit.
Yeah, national debt. Yep.
Yeah, and the need to finance it, right? And one way to finance the U.S.'s national debt is that if the Federal Reserve is engaging in quantitative easing, the government can go to the Federal Reserve, say, "Hey, I need $1 trillion to go spend on some random shit." The Federal Reserve says, "Yeah, sure, I'll go and print the money to make that happen for you," right? So then they buy $1 trillion worth of bonds from Uncle Sam, put that onto their balance sheet, and that's a way of them stimulating the economy. But they're not currently, doing this.
They're not doing that.
I expect they will start in summer. They'll start in summer.
So you're
they
saying,
have to do is
James, hold on. Let's just make this simple for the people watching at home. So you're saying that they're going to be buying treasury notes come this summer as the initial beginning of quantitative easing. Is that what you're saying or no?
That is my expectation.
Yes, so treasury notes is what we're buying. T-bonds.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's back up. Bonds, treasury bonds, right? Notes are less than a year. Bonds are more than a year, right? Or the bills, whatever. There's terms for it. But these are
treasury bills and treasury notes.
10 years, 10-year notes. Is that correct? Steve?
Yes.
These are the long-term notes.
So
treasury notes are 2 to 30 years.
They make multiple of them. There's a 2-year one you can buy, a 10-year one you can buy, and there's also a within-year one that you can buy. However, the Federal Reserve would be buying all kinds.
So remember, go back, beginning of our thesis of the global liquidity is that 2008, the financial reset, the average duration of these bonds for a lot of these, or the debt for these national government, because there's a 2-year, 5-year, 10-year, but you get a mix of it, right? But the average duration for these are between 4 to 5 years or 4 to 6 years, something like that. That's why this Bitcoin 4-year cycle coincides with the global liquidity cycle, so on and so forth, right? And that's what the S&P 500, yada, yada, yada. So in order for them to refinance it, they have to buy the bonds from the market and give the market cash, the liquidity.
Yeah, ultimately. And I expect that fully from summer 2025.
There's your narrative right there, John.
As well as the potential for future rate cuts with lowering inflation.
That's what I said. I said last week that the narrative is going to be coming down to government policy.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I say.
Can I add a bit to that as well?
Yeah, go ahead. Take all the time you want.
Another thing that's hurting the markets, I think, quite a bit, particularly in crypto, is they announced this strategic reserve. But when a lot of commentators were talking about the potential for a strategic reserve, they were talking about adding Bitcoin to that list of assets that the Federal Reserve has on its balance sheet. Many of them were. And that's not what happened. What they said is the strategic reserve is going to be all the Bitcoin that we have that we seized from criminals. And that's going to be our strategic reserve for future use, rather than
they did say
Bitcoin from it.
Yeah, they did say U.S. will acquire Bitcoin as long as the impact is taxpayer neutral, right?
Yeah.
Hey, pay
so
they
can find savings.
$700,000 a year, so fuck off and get out of the chat.
Wait, hold on. Go. I couldn't hear what you had said, James or Steve.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Say again.
Nah, there's this guy talking shit in the chat, and he just
don't. There's always going to be some idiot talking shit in the chat. That's YouTube.
Okay, fine.
It's just welcome to the show.
Okay.
So
I'm not a creator.
If you read the framework, right? They said U.S. will buy Bitcoin as long as it doesn't impact the taxpayer or the budget, right? So let's say you got whatever $1 trillion budget that get approved, then if they can find the savings within the budget, they can use that savings to acquire more Bitcoin, or they can use some kind of treasury function, right? I think they said there's a Federal Reserve has this bit they collect from issuing bonds and doing currency operation. They can use that, as well as the gold certificate that we hold in the Treasury and the Fed that can be repriced. They said something like, I think gold certificate is priced at 1950s price, like $30 to $40 an ounce. So they get repriced to $3,000 an ounce. That's a huge amount of asset that's on the balance sheet, right? Because that's almost 100x. So if there are gold in Fort Knox, whatever, right? Big if. So they can use that. But there are ways they propose in the bill or the framework that they will acquire Bitcoin. It's just that it's not going to be using taxpayer money. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. The initial, so I'm going to kind of add some clarity here too. So the initial, this whole thing got started because Cynthia Loomis introduced the Bitcoin Act of 2024, which initially stated the initial acquisition of Bitcoin that the United States government would have in year one would not involve any purchasing. It would just be shifting the already confiscated 200,000-ish Bitcoin that we have into a strategic reserve that we wouldn't touch. And then thereafter, we would acquire 200,000 Bitcoin per year until we have 1 million Bitcoin by the end of 2029, give or take. That's what the initial Bitcoin strategic reserve and narrative was around. Now that's changed. Only part that's changed is that the government said we're not going to be buying, but now Cynthia Loomis reintroduced it, and she said this time's is different. Whatever, you fucking. I look. What I'm noticing with this administration, and good on Trump for doing this from a strategic standpoint, but he's treating his administration like a marketing campaign. And every month there is some kind of good, bullish, optimistic, positive news that they're bringing out to the public. They're treating this like they're treating this like a business, quite frankly. They're treating the admin and what they're doing, their policies, like a business, because it feels this man hasn't even been president for 2 months, but it feels like he's been president for like 5 months.
A year.
On, you know, you got Zelensky crashing out on his coke bender in the fucking White House. You got, you know, him launching the coin when he wasn't president. There's just so much going on.
Did you see the JD Vance memes on the internet? That's pretty funny.
How do you not fucking see a JD Vance meme? They're everywhere. Regardless of your country, creed, race, your religion, you're seeing this fucker in there. So anyways, but going back to what Steve was saying again, like, again, that's just theory. Unless what I'm seeing collectively, and remember, I knew that we were cooked in 2022 in January, but I got pushback from people I'm working with, and they didn't capitulate until June. Now I'm gonna say, do I think like I said, there's just more evidence that we're perma cooked than we're not, and we're just continuing to kick the can down the road. Because now, James, I'm gonna ask you this: if we fall out of that upward trend on total,
then
will you change it?
I would have to reanalyze my thesis, right? But based on what I'm seeing is that it's close to the bottom, if not at the bottom. I mean, you got your upward channel, bottom of the upward channel, and you got top of the previous cycle. Yeah,
this is a mandatory bounce zone, correct?
It's a high probable bounce zone.
No, I mean, like, man, we need to bounce from here for this thing to be.
Yeah, we need to move up from here. I mean, we can do a long tail spring, like remember Lou was talking about that couple of podcasts ago. He sees the spring as the bull, which means the long tail then comes back up, right? Unless we see that, if we see a large body candle that falls out of the uptrend zone or uptrend channel, then yeah, we're cooked.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, Lewis, welcome aboard. Nice to have you.
Sorry for the lateness. Forgot daylight savings time.
Yeah, if that lady's fully clothed behind you, I hope so, because I can see her bare shoulder. Okay, good. Okay.
Like just out of view.
No, she's visible, but whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you're here. Where are you at? Because you're out. You're in cash, right?
Yeah, I'm in cash. Well, Bitcoin, but Bitcoin and cash, yeah. And I can, I was going through and seeing what you guys were saying about, everything. And let me share my screen so you can see this. If you want to press the button.
Yep, you're good. You're locked in. Just zoom in again, because it's all that data on the bottom is unnecessary for us to really can't see it at home.
Boom.
There you go.
Yeah, and so this was pretty much my game plan. Like everyone said before, we already we're in a downtrend on the 3-day and now on the weekly as well. And typically what I do is just take the Fibonacci from the low of the week. So this was the low. And then we just made higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and until, right here. So this to me is the range. Like from here to here is the range. And I mean, if you want to be like super technical with it, like we basically need to come down below here for this particular range to be broken. But like to me, I like to just play like range to range or like level to level. And so this right here was one level right here, like one range that I kept on seeing. And but that was the smaller range. The bigger range is really from here to here. And so it might do something like that, or might do something like I was thinking. Oh, let me get rid of this. So yeah, I was thinking that we were going to come down to the 61.8 like golden ratio, which is like right there, and then bounce, and we still might. So I'm not too keen on like going back in right now. This to me is a real clear what we call like a liquidity sweep, where you see there's the lows right there, and then the price came and wicked down right below them and then jumped up. That is bullish. So like short, super short term, you know, this has been pretty bullish, but we still have this huge, you know, support resistance area that's been right here that we already got rejected from a few times.
Just label that. They can't read it at home. What is that?
So this big green area is the huge support where it just kept on bouncing from. You could just see, you know, super obvious bounce. We fell below that.
What's the price is what I'm saying. What's the price of that support zone?
And this is somewhere between like 89 and 91,000. So basically like 90K. You could just say this is 90K. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough to go back above there, in my opinion. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us come up here and then get rejected again, have, you know, a double top type situation where we have one right here and then one right here, and fall back down to where I really think that we will get the bounce, which is around 74K, unless I don't know, maybe I drew the fib a little bit off, but if I did, then it's still going to be between 72 and 74. But yeah, right now it's pretty obvious that, like you were talking about, if we don't have the ETF inflows, you know, the big money coming in, the quantitative easing isn't happening. There's even this thing called like the Japan carry trade, which is really putting a damper on a lot of funds like hedge funds and traditional markets and things like that. It's making it really difficult for a lot of big money that's been doing a particular trade with the Japan yen. And it's like, it's really there's not so many narratives, there's not so many reasons to go in or to be in right now, in my opinion, other than if you're just looking strictly at price. So I mean, there are certain things that I like fundamentally, like there's this coin called Tau Network, which is all about artificial intelligence, and it's like I plotted this out, you know, a long time ago, like back when it was really all the way over here, like $500. And you know, it came down into the level, and this is the really good level for this, you know, for this particular coin. And I want to be buying it, like I want to buy it, but now I'm just struggling with whether the big macro picture is simply just too much and we need to switch up the, you know, and get more bullish in the big macro governmental global picture, or if I should just buy it just because it's at such a good level, you know. And so yeah, I'm going back and forth. I'm leaning more towards waiting a little bit, simply because I have waited before and been very patient, and then bought things at really good support levels, and then I just see them, you know, get totally taken out, and I end up losing money, just because the big macro environment wasn't as good as you know, I thought it was going to be. And so I'm sort of waiting. I'm mostly in cash, but still have Bitcoin, and I think that eventually, like, I think Steve said this, that earlier or later, like in the summer, we should be getting more closer to the quantitative easing, and we should be getting closer to like having actual rate cuts, and the global fundamental should look really good at that point. So it's sort of up to you, like if you want to decide, okay, I want to get in when everything is really crappy and the prices are, you know, really depressed, and like hope that it will go up, which typically for like long-term investments, that actually is like the way to do it. Or you could wait until like things get a little bit closer to the dates of where there should be rate cuts, where there should be quantitative easing, where like maybe the ETFs could get a little bit of a bid, just something, and then go in at that point. And so I'm trying to balance those and get in a little bit closer to like that area. But yeah, for me, until Bitcoin, switches back to bullish, because like Alex said, like we are in a bear trend right now. Like we're in a downtrend right now. I like to get in when the overall trend is up and the short-term trend is down. And for me, the overall trend that I look at is the weekly, and right now the weekly is down. So I would rather have the weekly move up, or at least like have the 3-day chart be moving up, and then get in on a retrace. Unless the price just hits, such a good level, and it's Bitcoin. So obviously, well, not obviously, but Bitcoin should like theoretically keep on going up over the years. So if it reaches such a great point, you might as well just go in, because statistically it's proven that if you just like go all in when the price is depressed like quite severely and you just hold, you'll outperform most people anyway. So it's just like that at that point, like if it gets to like 50,000 or something, then I'm just gonna go all in, sell everything, go buy it, and live on a hut, in a hut on a beach, and then just wait like 4 years and then be richer than everybody.
Yeah.
So I got a quick question.
You gotta wait 4 years though. You gotta wait 4 years though.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah.
I got a quick question. Kind of going back to what you were saying. You said, you thought it was a bottom, then you went in, then the macro sentiment was still negative, so you got stopped out. Did you get stopped out, or did you hold?
I wanted to go in. Like I really like for the trade for the Tau that looked really good at that level. And for that one, I wanted to go in. Like my alert went off, but I didn't, and so I just like nothing happened with that. And then for Bitcoin, I was waiting until 74 to go in. I saw the bullish structure start happening on the lower time frames yesterday or 2 days ago, I think now. But to me, like, I don't know, just the macro global just didn't really line up, because I think that what I would rather do is when we're in a downtrend, I would rather wait for the prices to come up and then either sell or go short, and then try to capitalize with the trend on the downside to the downside. And then opposite of that, obviously, is if we're in an uptrend, I want to long the dips. So I usually always try to go with the trend, and I try not to counter trade the trend unless we're at, a reversal point on the charts. Then obviously I'd long it, even if we were in a downtrend, because my thesis is that we're going to just like reverse from there and go up. But right now, it hasn't reached that reversal point for me, and I want to continue to go with the trend, which is down. So I'm looking to just sell on pops up at this point.
Okay. But what's typical holding period for you?
For my trades, it could be anywhere from a couple days to a few weeks.
Yeah, so that's the thing that we gotta kind of keep in the context, right? Lou is more of a swing position trader, so he's going in and out on the dailies or a few weeks, right? Typically, but I'm looking at more of a fundamental investor, which is cyclical, right? So my holding period is about 2 to 3 years. So I just hold and sit, So there's got. Yeah, so that's why we always go back to the whole trading plan. I keep bitching about the trading plan, right? You have to know your trading plan. What's your holding period? If you're a trader like Lou, yeah, you take the weekly trend as your long-term trend. Then based on your daily or 12 hours, you go in and out, right? But if you're like me, my long-term trend is monthly, and I use typically weekly and daily to jump in and out. And I tend to accumulate over a long time and and have a 2 to 3 year holding cycle. So again, it kind of goes back to the whole thing. You have to kind of know what you're comfortable with, what your risk tolerance is, right? Then you got to know the risk profile of the asset you're holding. And that had to match your risk tolerance with the investment vehicle or the asset that you're holding have to match for you to be comfortable in a trading position, or you're going to get whipsawed out.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that could work for Bitcoin. I'd be a little worried to have that long of a time frame on alts, just because of what happened in the past. Like what I've seen, what happened with me and what happened with everyone is like a lot of people did have that longer term view, and then just one thing happens or a few things happened, and then they just crash and they're down 80%, like that. And so if you're not doing like the shorter term in and out, then you'll miss it. And in like literally a week, it could be down 80%, which typically doesn't happen in stocks. But like I've seen it happen so many times in crypto that I just kept on lowering my time frame to the point to where it's like, okay, I could get a good sense of what's going on without having to wait like so long and potentially risk losing so much.
So I'm kind of opposite, right? I'm like, okay, well, I'm in for the long haul, 3 years. I look at monthly chart. If it's in monthly uptrend channel, fuck it, 50% drawdown, I'm okay with it.
50. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm just like, that's like too much for me.
Yeah, plus you're doing this for a living, right? You're a professional trader. I actually have a day job. So you're kind of depending on your trading income to support your lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on your trading plan, risk profile, your lifestyle. All these got to go into your trading and investing strategy. It's just not, hey, look at the chart and I go in and out here, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to say some stuff here. So this is just pure data across the board. So I'll give you guys some hopium first because you guys are in need of it. This is the Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, and he was saying this.
How about no tax on tips? How about no tax on overtime? How about no Social Security? How about all those things? These are the kind of thoughts that will change America. I know what his goal is. No tax for anybody who makes less than $150,000 a year. That's his goal. And that's what I'm working for. How about no tax on tips?
I mean, I think, again, we were talking about it before we went on the air. I mean, the largest tax bill any successful American or any expense any successful American has is their tax bill. Like, I have to cut staff and I had to get rid of people working within my organization because the taxation is just out of control. I'm paying 6 figures in taxes every year while living in Tokyo, which is that's with my foreign earned income credit as well.
So there's
and a bunch of write-offs.
There's a misconception about Americans paying low taxes, right? Because they're like, oh, I'm from Sweden and we pay 40% in our taxes. But remember, American taxes are layered in, so we're quadruple taxed, right? Yeah. So not only you pay the income tax on the earnings you make, then you pay sales tax after the income tax on the money you spend. Then you invest that money and you make money, then you pay capital gains tax on that after-tax money. Then if you buy a property, you pay property tax on top of that, which is across the city and state and federal, right? So you're like, oh, no, Americans pay so low tax. Well, yeah, on an income tax level, right? But we got all the other stuff. So Americans are actually quadruple taxed, if not more.
Could I ask, did you get the quadruple taxation line from Joel?
Yeah.
For guys, my boss is named Joel.
Some other news here is if you take a look at gold has been consistently soaring and outperforming the S&P 500 in the last 12 months. You know, that's not a good sign when gold is soaring. That's not necessarily a good thing as well. So like I said, as the S&P erased 5 trillion, that's only the 5 trillion being released was within the last couple of weeks. Gold is now set to cross above a record 20 trillion in market cap. Gold has more than quadrupled the S&P's return over the last 12 months. Gold is telling us something. So that's something you need to be paying attention to as well, because during good economic times, investors are not fleeing to gold. The good news is we finally had a positive day with the ETFs. Could this be the one and only time where we finally turn things around? We are at a positive $73 million for the day. So looking good. Maybe this is the beginning of the turnaround. Maybe from here, we're going straight to the moon. Grayscale with negative 12 million, but then the Grayscale mini with 6 million in. Bitwise with 0. Arc Capital with 83 million in. And then Fidelity with 0. And then IBIT coming in about an hour ago with 46 million on the out. So we are still positive on the day, according to them. So that's the first positive day we've had in quite some time. Let me see. I think the last kind of positive day we had was 2 weeks ago. Let me just double check. On the 11th, we had minus $371 million. And then the day before that was minus 278 million. And then before that, we had minus 367 million. And then before that, we had 134 million. And then on the 5th, so about 8 days ago, we had a net inflow of 20 million. So that's my biggest thing is when I see these large numbers of outflows, I said, not only does the market have to produce news that is ultra bullish, we need to see tremendous amount of price action, but we also have to beat the large and continuous amounts of Bitcoin ETF outflows in order for momentum to shift. And so far, that has not been happening.
May I jump in?
Hold on. And then I'm just going to give you guys a visual as well of where we're at right now, so you guys just kind of have a better idea. This is the overall ETF picture here. So you can see here, even during that time, we had that lull, you know, that's just like right around April-ish. Our outflows were nowhere near as gigantic as they are right now. We're having pretty large outflows. Even during this like no man's land period right here, the outflows weren't as bad. You can see the outflows are, like I said, pretty bad. We had $1 billion in outflows on the 25th. And then we had $750 million on the 26th right after that. And then minus 293 billion that day, million that way, excuse me, 24. And then this isn't accounting for the recent large outflows we've had as well. I'll just zoom in to show you guys a little bit more. So this is from December 10th, where we were still going pretty well. But then I would say like right around here, this day right here, the 27th is when we started to see a more of a trend to the downside. Before this was more trend of the upside. But then you can see it's just trending downwards, and the outflows are getting larger and larger. You know, we apparently did have a positive day today. To what degree, I don't know. But again, like I'm saying, is that in order for narrative to shift, we're going to need something. And I think people either were priced in with the rates because we're most likely not going to have a rate cut. And so we're probably priced in there. And then going to that guy, I forgot his name again, Tom Lee. In order for Bitcoin to get to 250,000, like he says, you know, we need a $5 trillion market cap. Currently at 1.6. So we'll need to double that. And then 50% of that double move as well to get us right to that 5 trillion. So that's quite the hurdle in front of us.
And you know that that range that we were in above 91,000, from like 91 to 108 to 91 to 105 to 91 to 104 to 91 to 106 to 91. Like we were in that range for 14 weeks. So since November 18th to February 24th. Last week was literally the first week that we broke down below that range, and we have not reclaimed it. And typically, if you don't get a reclaim fairly quickly, you're going to spend some time, underneath, like in the area that breaks the range. So in this case, we broke the range to the downside, and the range was 14 weeks, and we just broke it last week. So I wouldn't really expect us to just jump right back into the range, just like 1 week down and then the next week go straight back into it. It's possible. And I mean, if that does happen and we're back above,
don't even say it's possible. Someone's going to hold on to that and be
brother,
like,
hey,
you're telling me there's a chance.
There's a
chance. There's a chance.
Still an origin story.
Dude, we've been in crypto. We've seen the craziest shit happen. So at this point, anything is possible, But you have to think about that. But like, yeah, that's one thing that I'm saying too, or that I'm thinking about too, is like, okay, typically we do, see a longer time range in whatever area we broke the range from, unless we get a really, really quick, rebound back into it, like a spring back into it. We haven't gotten that. And so that's why I'm thinking at least like 3 more weeks, to make so that'll be 4 weeks underneath the range. And I mean, even potentially more, but I think the safest play is to wait until we either break back above and go back into that range above 91,000, or Bitcoin falls to like just terrible levels, and you should just buy it regardless, just because that's sound investing principles, at that point, when you have a fundamentally sound project or asset at such deflated prices.
I consistently watch like content creators too that produce Bitcoin content, and it's just like, honestly, just to see the reach that I'm getting from some of these guys is just like, okay, bro, like, dude, like, did you even pull up Bitcoin ETC or Ethereum? Did you not?
Yeah, new lows. Like the people who are like calling for Ethereum to go up are like, don't worry, it's just going to go down to $800 first, right? It's just going to go all the way back down, and that's good. And then it's going to really go. That's like, why? Then if you think it's going to go to 800, why are you telling people to buy it? Like,
it's totally going to turn around, and we're going to have an alt season.
Yeah.
It's totally turning around. Like at home, you're smarter than the world. You're smarter than.
I think people really need to just start comparing their cryptocurrency with Bitcoin. Like that, you could go into the charts, and you could actually share my screen real quick, and I'll just show them like how to do it in like 2 seconds.
Well, I'm just gonna hold on. I'm gonna show this just to show, like, anybody who's been endorsing this crypto is a fucking moron. You are a stupid, uneducated person if you have been endorsing ETH at any point. You are a fucking moron. You are a low IQ, mouth breathing idiot that if you died, society would have no problem fucking with you gone. You are a guaranteed, your death would probably be a better thing for society. Because like, at what point do you look at this and think, yeah, this is a good investment? Like, we've been crashing for literally 2 years plus in a row, but I think it's going to turn around. Like, that is just the peak of your male ego and stupidity. Just think at any point, yeah, this is totally going to turn around. Where it's just like, where
that's it.
Where do you see that occurring?
Like, how low can it go? It can go to 0. That is how low it can go. Like, it can. Like, it can. So wait until it's not doing that, and then buy it if you have conviction. But it will always go lower than you think. Like, it can go far lower than you think is ever possible. And that's where you get chopped out, because people start having a panic attack. So just like let it prove us wrong, and then we'll all eat shit, and then we'll all buy Ethereum and be happy. But until
you want to see something crazy, look at look at this. Let me share this thing real quick. So you know how many cryptocurrencies there are in the market, right?
2.4 trillion or million now.
Something like that, right? So all right. So are you on CoinMarketCap right now?
Mm-hmm.
So
12.6 million cryptos. Jesus, that was 2.4 like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So all right.
But alt season's coming, and all 12 million of these cryptos are going to uniformly go up 100x.
These boats
share the CoinMarketCap screen, right? Okay. So there's millions of crypto, right? So let's 12 million. It says up there 12.6 million. So let's see from year to date and the last 90 days, how many of them have outperformed Bitcoin? Well, we got 10 right here, with a few of them being fucking Tether and Pax Gold and Tether Gold. And then we got another 10 with that being USDC and DAI stable coins, right? After that, every single coin has underperformed Bitcoin for the last year to date or the last 90 days. This is all against BTC, right? Down 48, down 55, down 50, down 47, 47, down 42, down 44%. So
how do people at home do this?
You literally just go to coinmarketcap.com.
Yeah, go to the top and show us.
So you just type in right there, CoinMarketCap.
Mm-hmm.
That's the website. You just go there and you could see the name of the coin, the price. Typically when you go on it first, it looks like this. It's by market cap. But what you could do is you click this button right there, columns, and then you could click however time frame you want to see the price change, whether it be the hour, 24-hour, 7-day, 90-day, or year to date. And then you just click apply changes, and you could see them. You could see the change against either USD or BTC, whichever one you decide to choose. I'm choosing to look at them against Bitcoin right now. And then you just click on any of the columns, and
so you didn't. I don't think you explained how to put it in. Do you have to click price in Bitcoin in the top left when you click columns? Because your price is. I don't think you explained how to do that.
Oh yeah. So you could do price in BTC. Well, no. To actually get the prices, you click the top right up here. The three, the burger thing, and then you click currency.
Oh, there you go.
Click currency Bitcoin. Right now, I put it in Bitcoin, but it starts out in USD.
Dollars.
It starts out like that. So when you go to CoinMarketCap, this is what you'll see. You'll see the price in dollars for everything, and you'll see the changes, and the percentage changes. But if you want to see it against Bitcoin, yeah, you click the hamburger, and then you click currency, and then you click Bitcoin, and it changes now. So now instead of 86,000, it's one BTC equals BTC, and everything is denominated in Bitcoin. But yeah, it shows you everything. So
it looks like we got to go all in on Ripple, eh?
Honestly, it's crazy how the people that did that actually ended up doing really, really well. But yeah, so all right. That is, I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Ripple to the moon. Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brad.
Honestly though, is there actually a use case? I was thinking about this. Is there really a use case for XRP, the cryptocurrency? Because why not just use USDC? It's because Ripple's supposed to be like a cross-border payment thing, right? I'm paying for my apartment in Thailand with USDC, and I transferred that to the owner, So it's why is XRP even a thing? What? I don't understand why XRP is even.
I think it was designed for, based on what I've heard, the SWIFT, right? The banking interbank transfer.
Yeah, that's
it was designed to replace that. Yeah. So typically, I think it's more of a regulatory framework. you have to meet certain requirement for be used for banks versus regular person, right? So it might be designed because of it. So I don't know. But
Yeah,
if they have the Swift, why would they reuse Ripple if they already got Swift, right?
Yeah, well, I could see the use case for taking over Swift or replacing Swift with a newer, more efficient blockchain technology and everything like that. But like the fact is, like USDC is the United States dollar coin. It's by Coinbase and Gemini and BlackRock and all of the biggest players, and it's regulated. So, and people understand it. They don't have to, look at another cryptocurrency or do anything with another cryptocurrency that's not pegged to the dollar. So it's like, and it's easy. Every exchange has it. So, and yeah, it's weird to me, like that there's something that technically, like in my mind, like I just see no reason for it to exist. But that's happened before. There was a coin called Caspa, which was a layer 0, just like Bitcoin is, and it was literally like, it's just, the use case was to be Bitcoin, like a money of the internet, and that was one of the biggest players of this entire cycle. It did over 100x, and I didn't understand why, because it's a proof of work cryptocurrency that is meant to be money on the internet, just like it's like just Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin, but it blew up. So things happen that I don't understand. But yeah, I was just thinking about that earlier. Like, why Ripple? Why even have XRP? Maybe it's some regulation thing. And I'm sure it's, going to be a good bet for, if you get in at a decent enough price. But
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I almost bought some last time. So I was looking at it this time, but I bought more Bitcoin and Sui actually instead of Ripple. So who knows? Yeah. All right, guys, I got to run to dentist. So
all right, buddy. Thank you so much.
Bye. Peace.
Okay.
All right.
So how much did Caspa do?
Caspa went up over 150x this cycle. Okay. And it's just fucking coin. I think, honestly, it was the reason why I decided to buy it, other than seeing that it was doing well during the bear market of 2022, and it was one of the only coins that was doing well. And that's a very good proxy for what will do well in the bull market, is if something is doing good when everything else is crashing. So that's something that I always like to look at. But I think the other reason why it did well is because it's an Israeli coin, and there was obviously like all of this, a lot of money flowing into Israel. So I just figured like something is probably happening behind the scenes. So yeah, I'm just gonna buy it, and luckily that was like my best performer this cycle, which is great.
It's a good thesis.
I mean, if there's some type of crime or something happening behind the scenes, just buy it.
There's certain meme coins out there like Popcat that did like a 615x, and then you have like Whiff that did like a 1200x, but they're dead now. Yeah. Is Caspa still cooking?
Dude, I don't think anything is still cooking at this point.
Ripple is still cooking.
Well, other than Ripple, yeah.
But yeah, again, so what's your take now, Lewis? You think we're over? It's cooked, or we have a chance?
I don't want to say that it's over and we're cooked, because I think that like what Steve and other people were saying, and like even down there, and what I was saying is that like we still have potentially a few more months of sideways or toppiness or downward pressure or whatever. But I think it's, markets are cyclical, and I don't see us just like entering into a typical 2-year bear market at this point. I think it could be the same type of deal where we were going down and sideways for 5-6 months, and then we rip. And typically, if you look at Bitcoin on the logarithmic chart, it literally looks like this: up to the right, up to the right, up to the right. And like during this phrase on the log charts, Bitcoin is like going like this. And then it just like shoots up like really, really quickly. And like what happened before you know, back in November, it just like shot up so quickly within a month. And same thing would happen in late January, from January to February, or January to March. It just like shot up all of February. And then it went sideways and sideways and sideways. So I think like we're in this place where we're going sideways and down, and I don't want to call it out. I don't want to say like bull market's over, 2 years, like we're going into a bear market now and everyone's screwed. I think that there's a decent chance of a blow off top, and that's what I'm looking for. Or not a blow off top, a double top, or just some type of really big move up. And yeah, I think whenever I mean, if QE happens, which it might happen at the end of the year, I don't know, but if QE ever does happen, that's gonna fucking like just blow everything up. So
this is the token the narrative mindshare right now, and Ethereum's at the top, and I think Ethereum's at the top because everybody's discussing it's cooked. It's so fucking over.
Yeah.
Again,
and you know what, people were discussing that before and saying, oh, let's buy it because everyone's saying that it's cooked, and that has happened like 4 times this cycle. So at this point, like, just don't even bother. Like, I think yeah, I'm so glad that I switched from ETH to Sol like early in this cycle. That was the best move for sure.
Yeah, I just think looking at everything, you know, the whole situation here with the market at hand, like we're, like I say, it's looking like more and more reach, because like now Steve is saying, okay, well, and this is just theory, this is not on the board, they should cut rates in fucking in summer. Well, no, they should cut rates right now. Like, it's not like the economy is gonna, we got this like fucking 3 months of let's go get it. Nobody makes money when the money printer's off. It's all gay, it's all fake, it's all scam, and we need the fucking money printer on to make money. The reason why we made so much money in 2021 is because the whole fucking world was printing stimulus. The whole planet. Okay? In Japan, they were just giving out money if you had an LLC, which is like the KK, the Kubushu Kaiko. I don't know what to say, but it's a KK is what they abbreviate it for. Which is like the LLC.
You were hoping that they would add one more K to that.
They have you know, they were just handing out the equivalent of $20,000. Just here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. Same thing in the States, Canada. You know, you got all these whores who aren't OnlyFans getting fucking stimulus checks. Basically, what is that thing? Universal basic income, giving it to chicks, giving it to people, paying them money, stay home. That's why we had such a small concentration of coins. So yeah, no shit, you can have an alt season. I mean, back then, like when I saw people were just so fucking stupid. That's just the moral of everybody's life is like, just when in doubt, no, people are fucking stupid. When I saw people telling me like NFTs are making a comeback, I'm like, no, they're not. No, they are not. Are you fucking retarded? And the answer is yes, they are fucking retarded. NFTs not making a comeback. Like, how much hopium is built into your financial plan? So again, yes, could they cut rates in summer? Sure. But then they would have to cut rates and immediately announce quantitative easing and then immediately start purchasing through the summer. I'm talking like July at latest. And then there would need to be so much buying pressure and momentum and rate cuts into Q4 for us to have anything that is resembling like an iota of hope. Because like, again, everybody's saying like, oh, you know, we're kind of cooling off, we're retracing, but it's like, okay, ETH BTC is all-time low. Ethereum fucking ETF has just been a vehicle for bleeding money, right? We're better off sending this fucking money to Ukraine. You know, the ETFs are bleeding nonstop. We are losing price action across Bitcoin. We are losing price action across Ethereum. We are losing price action across Solana. We are losing price action across the board. Total crypto market cap is down. Okay, they're not cutting rates. The real economy is cooked. We're getting nothing but good news, and the markets are reacting negatively to it. Like, I'm not fucking crazy, right? You have to like soberly look at these things, and from an objective analysis, you can't look at those things and be like, oh wait, this is bullish. Like, no, if you had to look at every piece of activity going out and label this, is this bullish, green, or is this bearish, red? The shit that matters and the bottom line in cryptocurrency is price. All this fucking bullshit, maybe going to get some rate cuts, maybe here, statistical retracement, whatever shit you want to say, sure. But as of right now, things are looking cooked, and we're more cooked now than we were 3 weeks ago. And fast forward back another 3 weeks, we were less cooked then as well. Okay. And we have just been constantly getting cooked as the weeks and days and years are, since the beginning. My personal theory is, if that was the top, the Trump coin was the top of the market, the ETFs accelerated everything and kind of pushed this thing, pulled it further back. So we started way earlier than we should have started with this bull run. And so we're finishing sooner. My only hope is the administration and Donald Trump's ego, which is a big hope. Okay. Because here's the thing. If the markets and everything is going to go tits up in 2025, it is going to look terrible on President Trump and his administration. However, at the same time, it's his last term as president, and everybody makes big promises on their last term and does fuck all. So they've been saying promises made, promises kept. We'll see. But so far, my Bitcoin my portfolio and shit was doing way better under the last administration. Okay. We've seen, actually, if we're just comparing administration, the Trump administration has been terrible for crypto, has been terrible for price action. And this is coming from me. I fucking love the guy. Okay. But I also love living in reality and being based in truth and objective analysis of everything we're having right now. And every month, every day that has gone by, it's like, well, we just need this to happen. We need this. I'm waiting to the point where we're going to whip out our fucking horoscopes and be like, well, I'm Sagittarius. My Mercury retrograde is here. So I think Bitcoin's finally going to recover past $40,000 if the retrograde aligns. Like, where, like, that's the way I look at things. That's the way I look at things. So
full moon on the 14th of March.
Full moon's coming up. We look great. Fucking who gives a shit? Who gives a fucking shit? I'm out of toilet paper too. We're talking about stuff that doesn't matter. So Steve, go ahead, because you just said basically your analysis is we're gonna be choppy until summer, and then rate cuts happen, but you're assuming rate cuts are gonna happen, and then you're assuming they're gonna do quantitative easing, but that's a lot of assumption.
Yep. If I had to swing the bat one way or another, that's what my current ongoing prediction would be. I'm just basing it off of mainly weakening economic data for the stuff that the Federal Reserve at least states that it acts on, such as falling jobs prints. Job prints have been continuously falling from 2022, 2023, and 2024, still creating more jobs than there have been claims in unemployment. But no, the amount of new jobs being created has been consistently falling. They almost certainly have to act to go in and support that, right? Which to them means rate cuts. Furthermore, the thing that's been stopping them from cutting rates, at least if we look at all their month-to-month decisions from 2024 and late 2023, are these little monthly upticks in inflation when they do and don't happen. That's part of why what happened with December and January, when gas and oil prices were so darn high back then, the Federal Reserve was just like, nope, inflation's too high. We're not going to cut rates. But now those oil prices are falling. Now that gas demand is falling, thus leading to lower inflation, which means likely rate cuts. However, given how slow the Federal Reserve's been to act before in the sight of falling inflation, when it did fall a bit in 2024, that's why I lean towards summer for rate cuts. And with quantitative easing, it's a guesstimate with summer. Quantitative easing, in terms of my confidence in both calls, I'm much more confident in my call for rate cuts in summer than I am in my call on quantitative easing. It just looks like a rough right timing for the second one rather than the first.
We're cooked.
Got it. I'm a whole ass to Ukraine.
We're cooked. We're so cooked. No, I'm just joking. We are, like I said, the biggest thing that I'm looking is just the fundamental perspective of this administration. And I will say this: the bullish side of me is twofold. One, are we having? Because for all the newbies here, and if we're going too long, if any of you guys need to go for it. Go for it. I'm gonna just. This is my therapy. So I'm just gonna pull up TradingView here. So the only thing that I think could keep it be potentially what we're doing, because I don't think this whole melt off top is happening. We've pretty much invalidated that, I would say, right, chart guys? Like, we're not going to have the 2017 in melt off top. So here's us. This is in 2021. So the first top is right around here, April 13th. And then we went, so that was like about 60, we'll roughly say it's about 66,000, give or take, right? And then we went all the way down. So we went from April 14th to July, we crashed below 50%. So like it's just a brutal bleed out, right? For April to July. So it's like what? April to May, May to June. Yeah, 3 months, right? 3 specific months of just bleeding out. And then we cooked off here. So actually, let's just do some, let me see, FOMC meeting. No, I think we had the rates were fucking super low. We didn't start raising rates until 2022, if I believe. So I don't think rates had anything to do with it then.
There were a couple of small rate hikes around 2017 and 18, but very small.
Yeah, no, and I'm talking about significant ones. Yeah, we had meeting in July. No. Oh, I just pull up the chart. The more I use AI, the more I just like look at using on the internet and just like a fucking retard, like shuffling around through a bunch of shit trying to find the answer. AI is just so much better. Let's see. Double checking here. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, nothing. Okay. So here's what I'm looking for, chat. So the rate cutting had nothing to do with the price movement. I think it was all that stimmy money, bro. Because that's us, 2021, nothing. But then 2022, like I predicted, if you watched the Tokyo Crypto Show back then, I said in 2022, I said every fucking meeting, marked by words, they're going to raise the rates. And they brutally raised those up. They just started cutting the rates last year. And the rates started cutting right around the time that Bitcoin also started moving. So going back to Bitcoin here, okay, so no rate cut, nothing. So we just had an organic or seemingly inorganic from what they said drop. And then we had all-time high right around here. Was it November 10th? We'll just say November. Yeah, like November 11th. We peaked around like 68K.
69, bro.
I don't think we made it 69. We did make 68. And then we had the bleed out. Okay. So which led us to here. So the reason why we started moving here, we actually started moving here. That's on the 15th. The Cointelegraph intern leaked that the ETFs were indeed going to be passed. And then so we had a blow off top up until right around where we are now last year, March 14th. Right. And this was pure mania, a lot of positive sentiment. I just remembered you could throw money at almost any meme coin and make so much money. It was full retardation. And then this thing here, everybody was keeping their eye on this point here, which is Trump getting into office. So people were enduring this shit thinking like there's no way they're going to scam again. There's no way they're going to do it. And then Trump's going to get in, and then boom, we had that big, colossal, probably the biggest moves in Bitcoin's history, honestly. And we had that. We had a good run up for about a month, a little over a month. Okay. Now we've been in that range, and we peaked out here on the Trump pump and the Trump coin. And then this thing here, we had the Trump news about the fake news. It was about Cardano, ADA, and Ripple being in the reserve, and then fully retraced that in the next couple of days, and then bled down now. And now here we are here. So the only thing I could think of is, are we setting ourselves up for another top, like around this age, so like around this price. So maybe 115, 120, you know, somewhere down here. We are waiting for global liquidity come in, and then the only thing that's going to really change my perspective is, like I said, we get cuts in May, we get cuts in June, and then they're like, we're starting quantitative easing. But again, another thing is this: the bureaucratic machine that is Washington does have a liberal bias to it, and they do not want to see President Trump do good. And I think that's why, because everybody, how am I some dickhead YouTuber and I know that the rates need to be cut, but Jerome Powell doesn't know? Is there would the economy go into complete free fall if we started cutting rates this month versus waiting until June? Steve?
Absolutely not. If anything, they should have been cutting months and months and months ago. The only thing that caused the high inflation was gas prices spiking, right? But you're not going to get rid of the inflation that's caused by high gas and oil prices by limiting how much people can or can't borrow. That makes no goddamn sense. Right. If I want to put it in super nerdy terms, anyway.
Right. But, so, you know, go ahead, Steve. Go.
Oh, yeah, no, it's just sorry, I do want to give one quick rewrap just to my position. Guys, expect hell. At least this is my view, but expect hell at least until the summer. Maybe even super early fall, but that would seem late to me. I'm expecting for the summer. If you're wondering what I'm doing now, I'm invested in a stock portfolio. I monitor TradFi. I'm holding through all of this. I haven't sold really anything throughout 2024, hardly sold anything in 2023, right? And I've still been holding throughout 2025 because right now, in my view, to sell now and wait in cash, you can do that if you're the type to look for a more attractive entry point, and I think that's very likely. Wouldn't surprise me if there's future declines at all, and you could get in at better price points. But for me to wait 3 months and then try to time the perfect timing to get in at what point in summer, I'm not a technicals guy. I know very little about chart reading. So rather than do that, I'm going to rely on the fundamental long-term information. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to wait for the 3 months. I'm expecting summer to be good for this and that reason. So I'm currently holding. But yeah, that's just specifically what I'm doing with my money right now in these kind of trying times.
Nice. So going back to this real quick, I think here's I'll end with some hopium because that's what everybody fucking wants. This is regarding to what Exodia, the forbidden one here, has to say about the chat. So about what happened with the crypto reserve. So here's your hopium. We are going to have a double top. That's the copium message. Okay. And the reason we're having that is twofold. One, Trump has marketed himself as the first ever crypto president. And they are doing the stuff now in Q1, Q2 to really make the changes we'll need to see in some portfolio action in Q4. Okay, that's step one. Step two is because he just had a huge meeting with 6 other billionaires and a bunch of people during the crypto summit. Billionaires don't get together to talk about anything other than making money. That's why they're billionaires. And I'm sure they didn't come around there to hang out with Trump and talk about, you know, fucking horoscopes. They're in there to make money. All right. Binance is the one controlling this market. Binance is the market leader. Binance is the main market maker. That's not good because CZ's Chinese and Chinese people are fucking scammers en masse. I don't care if you call me racist, whatever case may be, come over to Asia, you'll figure it out real quick. Okay. Chinese people are lacking in integrity when it comes to business. That's why when they say they're going to go to war with America, I'm like, okay, no, you're not. You didn't do shit to Taiwan. So shut the fuck up, faggot. So there's that. All right. So my only 2-part fundamental analysis is he won't let this thing go tits up under his first year of presidency because they'll just humiliate him, and he doesn't like that. And the money printer's got to turn on. Has there been any talk of quantitative easing happening or anything or any bullish sentiment heading towards that direction at all, Stephen?
I haven't heard of it from the governmental sources. Jerome Powell says that he's not starting on quantitative easing yet as of his minutes from January that I looked at with my boss.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
It's just a bit.
I'm guessing the quantitative easing happening from how much cash on hand banks have, bank reserves, as well as their need to finance the debt, as well as what other analysts are saying. But no, Jerome Powell is not rolled out. He said something along the lines of, I'm going from memory now, so forgive me if I don't say this word for word. He said, we're not engaging in quantitative easing yet. However, in the future, we could consider that in the bigger picture. It was just one of his boring ass statements during the Federal Reserve meetings. So nothing solid to go on.
This guy's a fucking weasel. March 19th, we have the meeting. That's in 7 days, 1 week from. We'll be live when we get fucked. Yeah. So the no change is pretty much cooked in here. This is Polymarket, pretty good indicator. May 7th, we did have a moment of hope where they believed on March, looks like, I don't know what the exact date is, March 9th maybe, where we looked like we're going to have 52% chance in a 25 basis points cut. But now that has drastically changed. Why? I have no idea. Has the economy gotten better and I just missed out on it? And then June is where we had we did have like a 69%, but now it's kind of closing in as well. So yeah, that's that. We'll see what happens. The rate cut history last year was it was coinciding, honestly, perfectly when you look back on it, because we had a rate cut in September, and then we had a rate cut in November, and we had a rate cut in December, and then we had big price action, big money, and then now everybody's poor. So
yeah, I just double checked, by the way, nothing said in the last 3 months in the Federal Reserve minutes on the start of QE. So that's
hopium
lovely.
in your financial plan is a bad ingredient.
True.
Hopium in your in my opinion. Okay. But the thing is, they need to start. And I'm gonna ask you something real quick. We'll end with this. When they mention quantitative easing, right? Is there usually a big announcement like we are starting quantitative easing?
They would say it in the Fed Reserve minutes. If anything, the fact that they haven't said it in the past 3 months makes it seem like, to me, that they're almost purposefully being silent about it. Reason being, they don't want the market to start getting off into the races and hearing quantitative easing. Stock prices start going up, bond prices, crypto prices start going up, and all the rest of it, because everybody's excited about the news of quantitative easing. However, they decide that it's better to start it in 4 months instead of 2 months, and then they create a bunch of market chaos because they announced it too early. So given that they're being dead silent about it, I think they're only going to announce it the moment that they actually start engaging with it or start quantitative easing or buying back on the Federal Reserve sheet balance. Like, they're being purposely silent. They don't want to create fake euphoria.
Okay. All right.
But we don't know for sure.
But we don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
again, guys, these are my guesses. These are my guesses.
Hard
Got
to
it.
try. Yeah, because it's
You know what?
just
Here's this Stephen. Here's this stock market Steve promise. If the markets go to shit, I'm losing money with you because I chose to hold. There you go. That is my
people don't want to hear that.
solid patented
basically
express. I am holding, and if markets go down, well, I'm right there with you. But I, for a litany of reasons, do not think that it's going to for the whole of 2025. And I will say this, I did also call 2022 before it happened in late 2021. So lightning can strike twice.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm looking at okay. So from what I have here, this is from Grok, quantitative easing question. They may start easing in late 25 or early 26 if a recession hits. No official date exists yet, as depends on economic conditions. They're currently still quantitative tightening, which could end mid 2025. So here we are.
Yeah,
Alex,
that falls in line with what I was saying. Just like
you know nothing.
Yeah.
It's literally falling in line with what I'm saying. Wait. I'm waiting until it gets closer to the possibility of it happening.
I'm muting you. Go, Alex. Go. You want to say something else?
This is just like one more impulse wave, you know, weekly cycle, these big moves where we get them. And, you know, I mean, 200% move, great. They should, as the market progresses, get progressively smaller and smaller. So that was about half the size of the move. Now, from here, or if we do come down and we hit this line down here around, we get that like sort of $64,000 price. You know, who knows how low it shall go. But my going by from top to top, we've got about 10 months. So from top to top in 10 months around here, that's the $135,000 level.
That's
so
what I was saying. Like
I'm looking. If we pierce this line here, we're back up. We go over. As soon as we lose it, it's like, thank you very much. You know, I'm heading for the door. So, you know, James goes, well, we could get another 2 more, and that would be great. But I'm a high conviction we'll get 1 more. So I'm just gonna
120 max, bro. 120 maximum.
Well, I think a double top it here doesn't really make sense because there's no sort of resistance around it. But
so around what?
You go. Well, it depends what time. It's literally like just watch this. Watch the time. As soon as we went above and went below, that was it. Here we had Donald Trump, so we got an extra little oof. But if you had just gone, oh, lost, and you just got out here at $98,000, you'd still be having a great time. So that would be about 10% from the top. And if you can get out 10% from the top, you're doing really fucking well. So that's why I'm going, look, we can dick around, that's fine, but I'm sort of expecting 1 more, just 1 more, and I'm going to be more than happy with that. At the moment, you know, market's down, everyone's sad. I'm in the lucky position. I say lucky, but, you know, I was paying attention to God early that I'm still running fine. Still fine. Well above the, like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But there's also, like, if you put in your entire life savings, then for the folks at home, and you need that money, then it does get very stressful. And all of a sudden, your trading plan just kind of gets overridden by the necessity to, I need to live. So you always got to have that as well.
I have my life savings vested, so there you go. If you guys want something to rely on.
I was about to say people at home and fucking people on the panel here.
Steve will not allow prices to go down. We heard it here first.
Cooked. Giga, ultra, mega cooked. All right.
That's in the stock market though.
Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, guys, thanks for watching. Hey, listen, I know everybody out there right now, like the content. Here's let me red pill you real quick. Every content creator is incentivized to be bullish because they want to make money off of you watching. That's the truth. I will gladly be the Jesus Christ of crypto and die on the cross for being wrong about us being cooked and we're done and it's all over. I will gladly be wrong. Unfortunately, I'm having bad PTSD, bro. I'm having 2022 PTSD, and it could be a bias. It could be I need to go see a therapist. Okay, but I'm out. So I think that yeah, we'll see. But again, the fundamental part does stand true in the sense that Trump is still the president that has labeled himself as, you know, the crypto president. So will the crypto president allow crypto to invalidate the 4-year cycle, crash during his first year, and humiliate him? And everybody for the rest of the history of crypto will look back and be like, remember when the 4-year cycle failed? It was because of President Trump and his presidency. that's a big thing. And then also all the billionaires coming together for the crypto summit. Billionaires don't get together to talk about the stars or the flowers or whatever crap. They get together to make money, and they have a lot of money to make it happen. And they have the strongest man in the world at the helm of that meeting, which is President Trump. So, but just keep an eye on the channel. Keep an eye on the show. If you guys want me to launch the community, I need 20 people, 20, to leave a comment in this replay video for you guys watching. I mean, we've gone 2 hours. I'll launch the community and we'll ride this out to the end of the year. But I need 20 people to say yes, launch the community. If that's the answer, I'll launch it. If not, it will be paid too. I'm going to be very open, because the last thing I want to be accused of is being a grifter. But if you guys want me to do it and have daily updates, daily meetings and stuff that I'm constantly doing with the research team behind the scenes, basically learn directly from me and some of the guys here on the show. If you want to have immediate and direct access to us in a Telegram chat to answer your questions as soon as the market, because sometimes the market changes and you need a question answered immediately, let me know. Until then, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.